Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, episode number 74 for the week of September 10th, 2012. I'm your host, Ryan Higgins, and I'm joined by a cast of wonderful characters, including...
Brock Sager.
Lovely.
Toby.
No, wait, Toby, say your name again real quick.
Toby.
Hold on, say it again real quick.
Toby.
Okay, I think you're being picked up properly this time, so hopefully the first 20 minutes of this podcast we won't ignore you.
You just didn't want to hear me, that's all.
I guess. I don't know what happened there. And finally,
Charlie's here also.
Charlie. Yeah. Sorry about last week. A little technical difficulty on Toby's mic. We're not sure what happened, but...
Ryan just doesn't like me.
It was all a master
No, he just doesn't
plan.
like yellow people in general. He said, Omar, don't come, and he turned off Toby's mic.
No, he texted you. I saw that, so that doesn't work.
No,
that doesn't work. You didn't respond. You put the yellow thing on.
I watch all sorts of anime and stuff. I love all you yellow people. You're all
cool,
fantastic.
cool. Sweet,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah,
I
no
love
problem.
all you yellow people.
Hey, Charlie, I got an email here, not directed at you specifically, but it sounds like it's directed at you, so I'm going to read it. And
Wait, which Charlie? Evil Charlie or good Charlie?
Yeah, he's been doing the mirror
Has a yellow girlfriend.
the mirror goatee thing recently. So both Charlies.
Right.
Yeah.
This is actually from Midori Fox, who's one of our posters on the forums. He says, I got into comics by listening to the Geek Box and hanging out on the forum. There's like two people that post there, so I don't know how you got into it. But, I started off by borrowing from my friends on the internet the first 74 issues of Walking Dead, current at the time, to see what it's all about. I read them all in 2 days. Since then, I've been buying my comics. Good. Except for The Walking Dead. Oh, okay. The hardcovers are overpriced and don't collect enough issues. I stopped reading around issue 80-something. All my comics I bought are hardcovers because I like the format. I like the quality, durability, and having multiple issues in one collection. The downside is not being current on still running series. First comic I started collecting was Invincible. I love it. I'm also current on Fables and Morning Glories. I've collected and read Why the Last Man, Planetary, and Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men.
Dang, he's
All
a good list.
The hardcovers, yeah.
Yeah.
Today I bought my first Absolute after checking out the first two hardcovers. Holy shit, it's the sexiest hardcover I've ever seen, that being Sandman. I can't wait.
He's willing to buy Absolute, but he thought The Walking Dead's are expensive.
They're only 10 issues in those $35, $40 hardcovers. They're pretty small.
Well, there's absolute-sized Walking Dead slipcases.
Yeah. Well, he says, I can't wait to get to the next three and finish Sandman. Since he started reading X-Men, he's looking for other good DC and Marvel books to get. It's okay if not hardcover, but since he was such a big fan of hardcovers, Charlie is our resident hardcover connoisseur, if you will.
Maniac.
I'd say addict.
I think when IKEA bookshelves see Charlie coming, they just start shaking. They're like, oh, shit. We're going to get so many books stacked on us.
Well, I haven't broken any of my bookshelves yet, but yes, there are shelves that literally have a bend even when I remove the books now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Charlie owns any IKEA shelves, actually.
No,
Well-
none of the IKEAs.
Yeah.
Oh, you are a better nerd than most of us. You own real bookshelves.
No, I don't. I just go with the other cheap bookshelves. that
Target
I don't
brand.
have to drive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are crap.
Well, you were a fan of hardcovers, and I know you're a big fan of Marvel's Omnibus series and of DC's most recent Omnibus series. One of his points here was that the hardcovers, the quality and durability. When you get to these archives, the omnibuses, what's your take on them so far?
Oh, the omnibuses for both Marvel and DC for me really depend on the size. Now, mind you, I'm a total hypocrite because I buy them anyways. But yeah, there's something about the Walter Simonson Thor or the Ecstatics or any of those where you start getting into over 30 issues in one omnibus.
It's the 1,000+ page books.
Yeah, the 1,000+ page books, you can just look at those bindings, especially after you get them out of the shrink wrap, and you can tell, if I'm not careful with this book, it is not going to survive. And I've actually had a lot of discussions with Brock about getting some of them rebound because I'm a nut for the paper size and the paper quality and all that you get from those books. Just the binding, a lot of those, it's kind of funny because you know that these companies to some degree know how to do some of these collections correctly. They came out with a Dark Tower collection through Marvel. collecting the Dark Tower stuff that's in a nice slipcase with 2 hardcovers inside.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that, like, open and everything. It's nice.
Yeah,
Charlie has
it's
it.
nice.
Yeah.
And if they would have done like the Walter Simonson Thor that way, it would have been vastly superior to what they actually put out. But that being said, the books are still gorgeous. They have really good paper quality. If you're willing to take care of them to make sure they last the test of time, you can do so. And there's also services out there that it's just the binding. So it is possible to get stuff rebound or even bound in 2 hardcovers versus the 1. It does make things more expensive, but you kind of, in some ways, just have to know what you're buying.
Well, we all agree that the Absolutes are the best.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, the Absolutes in terms of, well,
They've been a little on the thin and...
if you're looking at just Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
I agree with you, the Absolutes are the best quality.
Okay.
But that being said, I've been really impressed with a lot of the hardcovers that have been coming out of the indie side of things, sort of like the Hellboy library editions and the Buffy library editions.
Yeah, the Hellboy ones are super, super nice.
Yeah, I mean, the quality on those books, I mean, I hate to say it, but the quality of the books being put out by Dark Horse and like IDW and some of these other publishers are such nicer quality than a lot of these books being put out by DC and Marvel. It's kind of sad that way, except for the Absolutes. The Absolutes are beautiful, but some Absolutes, I don't even balk at the price at all. Like the Batman Hush didn't bother me price-wise, but I'm a huge, huge, huge Green Lantern fan, and even I had to pause with the Absolute Rebirth. I still broke down because I couldn't not.
Well,
but
the Infinite Crisis one, too. Or, I'm sorry, not Infinite Crisis. Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
Besides having a really crappy cover, felt light and thin and not a lot of
Yeah.
extras. When you go back to those early days of the Absolutes with like Crisis on Infinite Earths coming with a whole second book, or the Watchmen one that's just massive, and all the bonus stuff that comes in these. I'm feeling like the new ones kind of aren't quite up to the Prometheus or Promethea ones are really thin as well.
yeah, I haven't touched any of the Promethea ones, but I do get the impression, they're starting to hear us a little bit on the Absolutes, because you look at what the final solicitation is for the Absolute Final Crisis.
They changed that a lot.
And they literally packed in a bunch of stuff. People were saying, this really should have this really should have this. And to DC's credit, the binding may be crap on the Infinite Crisis book, but they packed that thing, like, if you wanted to go from Identity Crisis through the Infinite Crisis event, you could literally just buy the Identity Crisis book and buy the Infinite Crisis omnibus, and it includes everything that links those 2 events through the end of the Infinite Crisis event. Like, there's nothing I could identify that's missing from that book. It was almost like going to my bookshelf and going, okay, I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a weird case, because there's a lot of books coming out where I kind of feel like the publishers finally heard the market to a degree, because for a long, long time there was a lot of complaints, and even to this day with events like Blackest Night and that kind of stuff, where you kind of get into, there's the Blackest Night trade and then there's the Blackest Night Green Lantern trade, and you can't really read it as intended to read it in the trade paperbacks without going back and forth.
Yeah, I actually had this happen over the weekend when I was working on Saturday. Somebody was asking about Green Lantern, and I said, well, these are the 3 trades you need to read: Blackest Night Green Lantern, Blackest Night Green Lantern Corps, but they interweave. So you would read one and then read another, and it's kind of like repeating itself when it should kind of just blend together.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing, like, once you see what they did with, like, the Infinite Crisis Omnibus, it just makes me go, and when they get to Blackest Night,
Ooh, yeah.
I am going to be bouncing off the walls, and yeah.
All right,
because they can do it right.
Yeah. Now, as far as specific books, I mean, you just kind of got to see what's out there. Every book has nice hardcover collections, but keep Charlie's things in mind when deciding which ones to buy, because some of those big omnibuses are a little hard to deal with. So,
well, my biggest suggestions, especially since you've already seen how nice the Absolutes are, I mean, The Absolute Hush, you're not going to have any regrets getting.
Yeah.
Absolute Long Halloween's a great book. Of course, my personal favorites with like Absolute Kingdom Come, and then there was a Absolute size they put out of like the world's greatest superheroes.
I got a good one that you probably don't know. I got the absolute sized Avengers versus Avengers
JLA.
versus DC JLA.
Yeah.
That was one of those that I just couldn't pull the trigger on again because it was very short and
It was.
small. It was like one of those first ones that I kept looking at going, I'm a hardcover nut. Having something in a hardcover instantly means I'm interested. But even I have common sense enough to look at the price tag and go, really?
The funny thing is, though, on that one, I was a Charlie because I'm like, George Perez's art with all those characters, I want that in oversized.
Yeah,
I
right.
want that in high quality paper.
Yeah.
And not only that, it came with the unreleased George Perez pages from 20
Right.
years ago that never got released, will never be shown otherwise. I'm like,
Doesn't JLA Avengers have a second book as well? Isn't there a whole second book of stuff?
that's the second book.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the,
yeah.
It's the original
Right.
JLA Avengers from like 28 years or whenever they first tried to do it.
Right.
Those were all the pages in there in order and with notes and stuff. So yes, it was overpriced, but with how fast it went out of print, I'm glad I pulled the trigger though. And the box alone with all those characters on was
For sure. And just supporting like a dope creator like George Perez.
Yeah,
He's such a
man.
nice guy. Like he's kind of like the Smokey Robinson of comics. He like friends everybody back that friends him. Yeah, so dope.
So we got a Twitter question here that's basically the same as an email question that I got a week or two ago. So I'll read them both. One's from the Serial Kills on Twitter. He says, "Put two writers from Marvel and DC onto the opposing company's book. Name the book and why." The other question is actually from Liquid, who starts frequent Geekbox forum poster.
Troll.
He says he'd like to start this email sent in August by wishing us all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year because we read his last email like 3 months later. So thank you,
he's
Liquid.
catching on.
Yeah, I'm wondering which writers and artists that work for Marvel do you think would save some otherwise mediocre or downright crappy DC books? He then lists some really good books, so I'm not quite sure what this is about. My picks are Jason Aaron on Teen Titans. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll see. Jonathan Hickman on Green Lantern Corps. Yes.
That would be sick.
That's amazing. That's one of the best suggestions I've ever heard in my life. Or New Guardians. Either one's fine. And Rick Remender on Suicide Squad and Resurrection Man.
I don't know. Adam Glass is doing a phenomenal job on too.
Yeah, but I mean, Remender could write those books with his eyes closed. I think that those are some great suggestions. Jason Aaron on Teen Titans. Maybe from X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men, kind of taking that and putting it towards Teen Titans. I guess I could see that, but maybe not with the characters they have in
I could
Teen
see
Titans.
Jason Aaron on like Resurrection Man.
Yeah, I could see Jason Aaron. I'd love to see him do some mainstream DC titles. But let's kind of combine these questions. Let's just take sure, because it's all writer based. So let's take a writer. Let's start with that. Brock, one Marvel guy you want to see do a DC book, and one DC guy you want to do a Marvel book, or anyone if anyone's got a.
Can they come back to do something?
Well, just one book, sure.
Wade back on Legion.
Okay,
I mean,
because he's a Marvel, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. That kind of defeats the spirit of the question, but okay.
I mean, where else am I gonna put
Well,
it?
what Marvel is there any Marvel guys right now that you'd like to see take over a DC book?
No.
Okay, that's fair. Omar, I know you want Hickman on more than just Green Lantern Corps.
No, you can just. I mean, let's just say there's one day where John says, "I'm going to step back for a little bit and play more of the puppeteer role and take off writing." I'd never want to stop writing, of course, but yeah, Hickman can own all those fucking primarily Green Lantern and GLC.
Yeah.
Those are the two
Yeah.
books I care most about. But I like the idea of Remender writing for DC, and I've always kind of fantasized of him doing Nightwing and Deathstroke. Because I was hoping that Nightwing and Deathstroke was going to have some interplay based on kind of like the 90s, and he does the 90s so well with jokes and just like talks about music and funny shit, because he has great people that can do that. Primarily Deadpool. I love the way he writes Deadpool. But yeah, I would say Nightwing and Deathstroke because Nightwing is actually decent. I like the way Kyle Higgins writes him. It's one of my surprise books for my top 5 of the New 52. But Deathstroke was like my biggest disappointment. That's like I wanted to cry when I saw how bad it was, how bad he was being approached.
Yeah,
the costume design was cool. I like what Chloe Hamner did with it, but yeah, it sucked.
kind of racked my brain here.
How about Hickman on Superman?
That'd be cool too. Yeah. Just anyone on Superman at this point. Toby, Charlie, anything?
Fraction on Green Arrow, because then I'd actually read it again.
Is that's just your Hawkeye replacement? Just move him over to Hawkeye from Hawkeye to Green Arrow.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of Tony Stark to.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Green Arrow. Yeah. That works too.
I just.
You get you covered on both bases.
Yeah, I guess it kind of does. But no, I just Green Arrow, and I was just talking to Toby about this a little while ago, is a character that I actually have a lot of respect for, and I actually love, and I really hate the book right now, which is really kind of sad. So I just the first thing I look at when I see a question like this is what just really isn't working for me. Like, what is a character that I want to see treated with respect and built up? And Fraction's shown he can do that with a good run with Iron Man. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see him tackle a character like Green Arrow.
My Marvel to DC pick is going to be Kieran Gillen on Stormwatch. I think he would nail that. He's got a total. I've said this before. He's got a total like Grant Morrison light kind of vibe going on. And not that I don't like Paul Cornell or any of the guys doing Stormwatch now. But if they were to leave, Kieran Gillen on Stormwatch. I'd like that because that screams. It needs that Grant Morrison feel back to it, which it does. It has a bit of it. It needs more of it though.
I'd also say Brubaker could probably do Stormwatch just with the way he does really grand, big.
Well, my first reaction would be. Man, that's actually someone just tweeted us about Hawkeye, and actually I'll go into this in a minute. It would be like, oh, sure, Brubaker and Rucka on Dark Knight and Detective, but I mean they've already done Batman, so that's kind of like Brock's cop out. It's like they're going back, or like, sure, Jeff Johns on Avengers, but he's kind of done that. He did it, but he had such a crappy team. When he the characters were kind of meh. He had Oliver Copiel did the art on that run though. Right?
I have an idea. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
you know, what would be the best book ever? Rucka and J.H. Williams on Batwoman.
Wah, wah.
I just restocked those issues.
Yeah.
So, Toby, do you got anything?
Yeah, I kind of would like to have Brubaker on Team 7.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I
That'd be
would
cool.
really want to see that.
Well, because he did Sleeper, which had a lot of the Wildstorm guys. So.
Exactly. And on the reverse side, I'd like to one day see Gail Simone maybe do X-23.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, without pointing out the obvious, Jeff Johns on Avengers and Jim Lee doing the art for that.
Yeah.
Without pointing the obvious, it's too easy of it.
I was thinking just have Johns and Bendis flip Avengers and JLA and just see what they do. Not that I want Bendis on JLA.
Yeah. It's going to be like all the random JLA members.
That's like Justice League International then, right?
Yeah. Well, you might as well just put them on that then.
Yeah, Bendis on Justice League International could totally work.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that's a bad idea.
Now, what artist would you get?
Baggy.
Sure.
So I have a weird question just because I like the writer, but I can't pick a DC book for him. Where would you put Greg Pak?
I will put him on Green Lantern.
See
Is that too easy because of the Hulk?
I mean,
the
his
universe
Hulk
stuff?
and Deadpool are the two books that he had obviously the biggest kind of influence on, and it's kind of I don't want to put him on a jokey character, and then I don't want to put him on like OMAC or something that's like kind of
No, he would do really well on sci-fi stuff actually.
Yeah.
He might
No,
do good
trust
on
me.
Grifter.
If you've seen this movie, he would do really well on sci-fi stuff.
He could do good on Grifter.
Yeah, Grifter might be a good fit for him.
Grifter
could see
Destro
that.
kind of being the
Grifter.
straight Deadpool.
Yeah.
Nah, I will put him on a sci-fi book, some kind of sci-fi.
Well, that's why I was
Red Hood
thinking
and the
Grifter with the.
No, I guess with all the
Demonites and everything you
see,
could-
that's not Grifter to me. That's not Grifter to me.
Oh, I think I have my Marvel one.
away.
Well, but Wildcats was very sci-fi.
Yeah, but I like my Grifter being more down to earth. That's just me.
Go for it.
Either Paul Cornell or James Robinson on Secret Avengers. Secret Avengers has definitely become one of my favorite little team books for Marvel.
I think James Robinson kick ass on something like that, where it's like grab some obscure characters and just go to town.
And he can just pull from Exiles and shit.
Yeah.
Seems. Why'd you leave my He-Man?
I'd like to see.
Why'd you leave
I
my
think I'd
He-Man?
like to see Scott Snyder tackle either Wolverine or Spider-Man.
Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on Moon Knight.
Really?
I like
No, that's just the generic Batman Moon Knight's a Batman clone joke. So, but that would work too.
I like the old Moon Knight.
What about Black Panther?
I don't know if anybody can write that book.
I
Yeah.
like Priest, right?
Christopher Priest was amazing.
Oh my
but
god,
that's
that
such
stuff
a
was good. Good stuff. That was not the Black Panther though. It's like a new Black Panther when he wrote it.
no. It was the real guy. It's
Well,
just,
he had like a sequel though, where it was like a different Black Panther, which I really liked that run.
yeah. Oh, you talk about the crew or whatever?
No, he had like he had like the white Black Panther, the guy they called a ghost because he was half white,
Oh,
and he was
yeah.
running around in his coat and he had guns. I
Right,
like
right.
that
Darth
that
Vader
run.
in spandex versus Darth Vader in a suit.
Priest was really good. Though. I like what's Priest doing now. I like this work a lot actually.
Nothing.
Really?
I don't know what he's doing?
Oh man.
No,
Didn't he also write District X? I really like that book too.
no.
That wasn't Priest?
That was Greg Hine. I
Oh
think?
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You can put Palmetti and Gray on Uncanny Avengers. The time stuff might actually make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got I got a bunch of. It's like not a lot of news this week, so I'm just gonna keep going on these questions. These are some great questions. This one's directed specifically at Brock. This is from Danny on Twitter. He says, "What do you guys think of the new Hawkeye miniseries? Or I was a miniseries, a Hawkeye book? It's going to be canceled.
How is this directed at
Canceled
me?
after 12 issues. I'd love to hear Brock Sager find a fault in this Marvel series. Well, I'll tell you right now, Brock didn't read it because Brock's not
didn't
going to read it.
I read it.
Charlie, yeah.
I'll tell. Let me,
Redirect that, Charlie.
let me rant on why I don't like it first. Okay,
Why?
I couldn't even finish the first issue.
Because it's movie Hawkeye?
Yeah,
Was it $3.99?
Because it's not Hawkeye, it's Clint.
no, it's $2.99. I
Are you
think.
sure? Was there a digital code in back?
I don't know. No, yeah, it was $2.99. Here's what I didn't like about Hawkeye, and I will go back and read one all the way through, and I'll read two. I love David Aja, the artist. He is effing amazing, right? Matt Fraction to me is kind of hit or miss, but I overall I tend to enjoy his stuff for the most part. Why would you give David Aja a book to draw that involves no action sequences? There is it was just talking heads, little panels. There was nothing going on in that first issue. I read like halfway through the book, and I had other issues with it that made me stop reading. But that was one of my things. There was just nothing in that first issue that was like, where is David Aja's awesome action sequence? Like there was nothing.
Yeah.
The thing that killed me in the book the most was the attempt at translation, where when characters are talking, instead of having words translated or having words in another language, it would say like in a little parentheses like random. It would literally say like random Russian words, and that's what
Oh,
it
yeah, you
said
showed that
in the
to me.
word balloon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like what the fuck? Like what is? Are you just too lazy to ask someone online?
Well,
what
no,
the
it's not
tra-
even that. All they need is the brackets around it and give us a line, and we know it's in Russian.
I would have to back up a Fraction on that. It's kind of stylistic. So that's what he does. And he does some of that, plays off it in Casanova when aliens speak, and it works better there. I didn't touch those two books only because when I look at Aja and I think of Fraction, all I got to do is put in Brubaker, and I think of one of my favorite books ever, Immortal Iron Fist.
And this,
so yeah,
I don't know what the deal is. This is David Aja's not his best work. Maybe it's just because there's nothing for him to really draw on it. Like there was actually one really cool panel or one kind of really cool page in issue 2 where like the arrows kind of go in weird directions. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But it's like David Aja channeling Frank Miller with these little tiny boxes, and
bummers.
it's weird. It's a really weird style that I'm not seeing his Iron Fist work. I'm not seeing, what was the other book he did in between that? There was something else. He did some cover work. I'm just not seeing the same.
they filled it on Daredevil.
Yeah, the Daredevil stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not seeing the same type of style that I was with those issues, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Okay, so I actually read both issues out so
Yes.
far.
And Charlie, I agree now. Greg Puck, now the more I think about Wildcats, totally on it. But not on my grifter. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, continue. My bad.
Okay.
It was
He doesn't want
processing
Greg
in my
Pak
head.
Grifter.
But so I actually disagree with Ryan, but I'm more of a writer guy, so it doesn't really doing a random words in Russian if the character's not supposed to understand what they're saying doesn't bother me, since you're pretty much in Clint's head. through
I got
book.
that. I got that.
And that didn't really bother me. I did find it a little weird in the first issue that it wasn't really a Hawkeye book. It was much more of a day in the life of Clint Barton.
Can I interrupt you for just 1 second and say this is not the same Hawkeye that's in the Avengers titles? Like, it feels like a completely different character, and I think that's maybe one of my other bigger problems with it. It feels completely unrelated to any sort of Hawkeye that's in the Marvel Universe.
The second issue, though, I actually enjoyed quite a bit.
Okay.
Quite a bit more than the first. I enjoyed the first issue, but I like the fact that they incorporated the Young Avengers Hawkeye into the title as well.
You know, I was going to ask about this. Why has this not got more traction, like on Bleeding Cool or news or anything like that?
I like her. I will actually read the book now.
You know she's underage, right?
She is?
Yeah. She's supposed to be like 16. Why does Hawkeye want to sleep with her?
He
Like,
does.
That's
He
a little...
doesn't.
Because Hawkeye just wants to F everything that's around him.
She wants to sleep with him. They've made it clear in the book.
yes.
But she doesn't seem to want to sleep.
Looking at those pages, him saying, I don't want to sleep with you, is him screaming he wants to sleep with her.
I
Like,
read that as, you know, when I partner with somebody and romantic
I'm not the worst
entanglements.
person on this podcast anymore.
No, you're not.
These guys are talking about
This is what's in the book.
What's in the book is him pretty much saying, every time I've tried to mix business with pleasure, it's ended very, very badly with me. So I want to partner with somebody I don't want to sleep with, is what he basically said in the book.
I didn't see... Okay,
Is this based in New York?
I don't... Yeah, actually.
What's New York's law on statutory rape? Is it 16 or 17?
I'm sure it's 18. I don't have... I didn't read the entire issue cover to cover. I read there was like 2 pages. This is at the very end of the issue, right? Because I read, someone was talking about this, and I was like, really? And I flipped the last 2 pages, and I was like... this seems like I don't know. I just took it like he wants to sleep with her, but he's like, but I can't. It's a weird subject for this.
I literally read it as the exact opposite, that he's okay with using her as a partner because he realizes it ends in disaster if he wants to sleep with them.
Yeah.
And this is why I appreciate Dr. Light.
So
Lord.
So is this?
Oh,
like,
man,
is this like the Born Lolita?
That took a second.
Is that what? This,
that really took a second. Okay.
is that what the book is like? The Born
No,
Lolita?
it's a case of like, God, what the hell?
The
Someone
Professional?
described him as, is it Dazed and Confused? Is that the movie?
How in the hell can you describe it
yeah.
as confused?
What's the guy where he's like, you know what the great thing about high school girls is? And they keep, I keep getting older and they keep staying the same age. Like, that's what this Hawkeye reminds. Is that Dazed and Confused?
Or was it Fast Times?
No, I think it was Dazed and Confused. I totally can't remember what movie
I
that's
think
from
it's
now.
Dazed and Confused,
Yeah. That's totally what this Hawkeye kind of reminds me of. Like, it was, I don't know, I thought it was a creepy scene. Well, anyway, whatever.
Maybe if you read the entire book instead of a couple of balloons.
I'll reread them. Is there something about vampires and tracksuits in this? Are those guys
Wow.
not vampires at the beginning?
I don't believe they're vampires.
Why did I think they were vampires?
They
So
may
now
have
it's
been.
Twilight.
It
Born
wasn't
Lolita?
that.
Tasty.
There's no tracksuits in Twilight.
I like how Ryan is making up stories just by looking at a couple of pages. Like, there's vampires in the book.
Well, I swear,
Hawkeye wants to rape a underage girl.
I was reading this and I'm like,
So much controversy. Why isn't it not on Bleeding Cool?
I know. Why don't you just
because
go
I'm
ahead
making
and
it
send,
all up.
Go ahead and send Richard, your buddy Richard, email. Give him a feed.
I go, what the hell is going on?
Ryan
with Hawkeye?
Higgins
But-
writes Hawkeye.
I'll be back next week and be like, yeah, it's totally not what it's about. But that's what I felt like. I swear they were saying those guys were vampires and they're like in tracksuits because they were like kicking all the people out of the slums or something. I don't know.
I think you're just projecting
No,
your inner
did
Did I
Paul
read a
Ryan.
different book?
Maybe because I don't remember the beginning so much, but I remember how it ended very well.
Okay.
That'd be a nice experiment when you're like so tired you don't know what's up and down. You read a whole bunch of different books and see what
And they
you
all blend
remember.
together?
Yeah, see
Well,
what
I
you
just-
remember at the end. Like
like
Superman
they-
punched the Hulk.
Like, I like the fact that they incorporated the Young Avengers Hawkeye into it. I like the fact that they kind of pulled a particular mission to stop the bad guy from robbing some other bad guys. It was cool.
Awesome.
Wait, it's Disney. We should expect this stuff.
Jesus. All right. Here's a question from Stefano, and who writes in to us a lot. He says, hey, how do you guys feel about the business the shop gets after shows like Collection Intervention, i.e. that lady with Hulk 101? Is anyone here actually watching that show?
Yeah.
Collection Intervention? Did you actually start watching it?
I've been watching since the beginning. I told you.
Oh, I thought you were like watching certain episodes. I didn't know you watched them all.
I've been watching everything.
He's hooked.
Okay.
He's addicted.
Do we all not want to watch it because we fear what we'll see?
I have my rules. I stick to them.
I think I'm the
I don't
only
have
one
cable.
here that's in trouble of being on that show, so I don't know why you guys are not watching it.
Do you know what this is, Omar?
Oh, so
I
what
heard
you're
about
saying
it,
is we should be
but-
watching it to prepare for your intervention.
No, I'm not
Do
going
we
to
have
be
to
on
get
it.
in a circle and write letters and
Do you
speak
cry?
out loud?
Do you cry when you watch that show?
Yeah, man, so much, man. I cry when my books that have feelings leave me, and you know, they're all my friends and buddies. What the fuck, man? No,
I need to take a picture of your awesome shirt that has my name on it.
dude, it is The Wire, man, the best freaking TV show ever.
I'm interested. I just don't have cable.
Yeah.
No, I actually think the show is pretty good. Yeah, I really like it.
You're really taking
Does
a
it-
picture of a shirt.
Does it
Yes.
put
Yeah.
does it put kind of nerd collectors like in a really bad light, or is it pretty honest about it?
I think it's pretty darn honest about it. Yeah.
Does it
I mean,
show the collectors that have it under control, or does it just like here are some crazy people?
So it's kind of funny you should mention that. So the last episode, which really hit me the hardest, was there might have been a newer one since, but there's the last one that I watched was the Transformer guy, / robot guy, and then they usually have two storylines going in each episode, and the other one was a comic book collector, and the other guy, the comic book collector, was actually really in control of, as in organizing it. He didn't have it. He knew exactly where all the things are. He knew all the runs he had, and the problem was he just had way too many. So the lady came in and go, listen, it's time to trim down, and it's quality over quantity, and that's how he made that trade for Double Hulk at 181, which I totally agree with, and it was very hard for him, but he got a freaking awesome book out of it. So it's kind of like I feel the same thing. I'm like, why do I keep all these books? I could have a Jim Lee page or something, So watching this show reconfirms everything that I've been thinking for a while. And you know this, Ryan, that I've been telling you this. I'm like, dude, I think this needs to go and this needs to go, and this show kind of just more reaffirms it. I just wished I came up with this before because I could make some money at it too.
Well, I guess I kind of feel like the person that goes into these interventions to help people, because I've already helped two people with their collections and
purging
and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the purge is needed. It's a nasty word, but nerd hoarding is really what a lot of these guys are doing, including myself. And I tried to call it nerd hoarding because it sounds a little worse. So it makes me feel more like I have to
Nerd
get rid of
hoarding.
shit. Yeah, but on the other hand, though, see, the thing that I don't agree with the show is, if I get rid of something I really like, I don't get a blonde chick with boobies to give me a hug. So, I feel a little left out on that department. So whenever I get rid of something, I want a chick with big boobs to give me a hug, but it's
I'm
not
sure we can
happening.
figure that out.
Why don't you apply to the show so you'll appear on the show?
No, I don't want to be a show that's horrible. But I have to say, there was this Catwoman guy, right? And his girlfriend was just a fucking bitch. I mean, you could tell. I'm like, why are you with her, man? She's like not out for you. She just hates you.
She's probably good in bed.
Now, I heard the Catwoman one. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I heard that one was a little bit weird because it was like a bunch of stuff like in boxes. that
Oh, he was a
all water
horrible collector. He was a
damaged
horrible collector.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was a freaking... No offense if you're listening to this. You're an idiot. I'm sorry, dude. I mean, you don't collect like this.
Yeah, I mean, I can get if you have like big displays and collection in your house, but I understand
Yeah.
this is just like a bunch of garbage in the garage.
So
right?
it's actually pretty good. They actually show a very different kind of collectors. This is a guy who had a Catwoman buying tendency. It was like he sees Catwoman, he buys it, not necessarily knowing what he's going to do with it. He just bought it and put it in his garage, not necessarily taking care of it. They even went to like like a shop or something to sell stuff, and the guy was like, "You got some really good stuff here." If it was in good condition, but the it's all beat up and it's got water damage, it's not worthwhile.
Yeah,
That's why he probably got rid of everything, because at the end of the episode, the garage was gone. I mean, not gone, but empty.
yeah.
Yeah, she better be dressing up as Catwoman, pleasing him very well, because I don't see how he would be happy with her. But that's, another story, I guess. But no, they had like a Barbie collector on there. She had like her Barbie stuff in her kid's closet. It was pretty bad. And the Transformer guy is kind of out there too, but they showed a storyline from beginning where they're like, no, I can't, and they actually go through it, and it's kind of cool. I'm waiting to see the storyline where the dude doesn't go through it. Go, fuck you! No, I'm gonna keep all of this.
It's the same layout as Hoarders.
Is it? I never seen Hoarders.
Hoarders does the same thing. where
Yeah.
They normally have two story arcs going on.
It's
at the
pretty
same
bad
time.
though. I mean, my buddy called me up the minute he watched the Transformer one. He's my fellow Transformer collector, and he was like, "Dude, the shit makes me not want to collect anymore." And in the same episode, I'm like, "Dude, I see shit in this card I own. Why the fuck do I own this?" And I'm like, "It's time to let the shit go." So I think it's a good show actually. So yeah.
Well, we got a handful of people who there sent us their top fives of their new 52 books. I'm going to read a few of these real quick. But one of them, CrossX Hunter, again, another podcast forum listener, or poster. He actually sent 2 questions that I wanted to read first. I figured these are a couple good questions. A few of us can answer. First, he wants to know Brian K. Vaughan's Saga. Anyone caught up?
Charlie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone liking it?
Charlie?
Yep.
Charlie? Brock?
Yeah.
Liking it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the art. I'm not
Fiona Staples?
Fiona Staples. I like it, but I think that there's a lot to this world that he's given us, and I'd like to see a lot more. But I've enjoyed it so far.
Is it jarring?
See,
No, it's not Morrison.
no, the thing about this book that sort of stands out to me is I'm a story guy, and I'm in love with the world. I'm in love with the way they're sort of crafting the world, but the story hasn't progressed that far.
No.
But I'm loving the world building enough that I'm kind of okay with that.
Oh, one of the best lines in comic books this past year was from Saga. One of the characters goes, "So who are you?" And the guy goes, "Lord of Shit Vacations." Yes.
So I have to admit, I just put Saga in my giant collection of long boxes of stuff to read, which is the one that's in the storage unit, which means it ain't getting read anytime soon. This is next to my long box of Hellblazer. Okay, let's just
You
put
know
it that
they
way.
have things called trade paperbacks.
Nah.
Not on Saga. I don't think
I
that's
only
out
read,
yet, isn't it?
You know how I buy trades. I buy trades of stuff I really like and already read, for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't buy trades of stuff I haven't read. It's like DVDs. Almost every DVD I own is stuff I've actually seen. So, he actually asks, which of the, what do you guys think of the DC annuals and which one is everyone's favorite? But we're also on our first week of the number 0 issues, and I thought this would be a good time to talk about that as well before we get into the rest of these top 5s. DC annuals, they've been kicking ass. Every annual that's come out that DC's put out in the last year has been important part of the story, a major section of a story, the start or the end of a major story arc, or just a cool kind of, actually by the ongoing stable creative team. So, cool. They've all been cool. Anyone have one that they prefer? I mean, Green Lantern, obviously,
Yeah.
being the big one.
I really like the Batman one with the Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze story.
that was
I really
great.
like that one.
Just like International was obviously
was
a
amazing.
huge
Yeah, that was cool.
book. So,
I think the only one that there's 2 things I can say about the annuals that kind of strike me. One, I see what they were trying to do with the Superman annual, but I kind of get the impression nothing's going to come of it anytime soon, if ever. But we'll see.
The only thing that you got out of that Superman annual was that Wonder Woman and Superman supposedly messed up the sheets. That's about it. You don't remember that panel? You weren't paying attention to a panel, Charlie?
is this like Hawkeye
Is there
fighting?
stains? Is there stains?
Is this like
I
Hawkeye
don't know.
fighting?
It's too dark to tell.
Is this like Hawkeye fighting?
Well, this was
know,
before,
Vampires and
or was it
Tracksuits.
the same week
No,
as...
it was the same week. Same week as 12.
I wonder what color kryptonite he would need to spot the blankets.
Well, any
Moving
event.
on.
Well, he should take direct curtain
Any
just to
event,
do
I
all
wasn't
the fucking...
impressed with the Superman annual. And it kind of bothered me a little bit that the Green Lantern annual and the Flash annual wrapped up the current storyline in an annual.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. It's better than the annuals Marvel put out, which are a bunch of fill-in nothing.
I don't mind having an annual to start a storyline. I don't even mind an annual to sort of take a loose thread and kind of wrap up that thread. But like the fact that they ended the Revenge of Blackhand storyline in an annual screwed me over because they didn't do the digital copy
yeah.
combo pack with that annual. Plus,
Bastards.
if it's going to be part of the actual concurrent story, I kind of feel like it should just be issue 13. That way people know I need to buy this to finish up the story. If somebody has 12 in their collection and then they buy 13 thinking...
This goes all the way back to the wrap-up of the Great Darkness saga back on Legion of Superheroes that ended in an annual. I mean, would you rather have the last issue of the Black Hand story arc in a Green Lantern annual, or would you rather have Wolverine fighting the stupid Alan Davis's stupid characters that no one gives a crap for except for Alan Davis, whose name I don't remember now. What the hell are their names? The stupid X-Men characters that are terrible that Alan Davis loves. I know, Omar. You know.
Excalibur?
No.
Clandestine?
Clandestine. There you go. Terrible. Good
job.
Terrible. It's like bullshit. I'd rather have it part of a story, or like the or what about the Teen Titans annual starting the crossover? Is that better?
That didn't bother me.
Okay.
But part of this just has to do with the So I'm very up to date currently on everything I'm reading, so it doesn't really faze me. But I have been the kind of person who's had a big stack of 10 issues waiting for me. I finally sit down to read them and realize the next part in the story's in a Spider-Man issue or in an annual or in something I didn't buy because I didn't realize it was... I agree with you that I like it when the annuals are done by the same team. I love, as Brock said, I love the Mr. Freeze annual. It was entirely worth buying, even though it was loosely tied in with the story that was going on at the time. Like, very, very loosely. If you didn't read it, it didn't impact the current Batman issues, but it was phenomenally worth buying.
Well,
I'd rather have an annual like that than an annual that literally is issue 13.
Yeah, I think that finishing off with an annual is difficult because you're doing it in chronological order, and then you break for the annual one. I mean, doing binding, it's annoying as all hell. You're like, blah, 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 annual 1 or blah, 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 annual 2. Whereas
I don't see what the problem is.
Whereas like something like the Mr. Freeze story told us something that happened before, so you can actually put it before all that stuff happens, and it works because it's this nice little thing. Like Amazing Spider-Man did those extra issues, and when they weren't doing annuals, and it was just backstory for extra characters that were in the Spider-Man universe, tying up little story arcs and stuff like that. Now, I really hate it when they're annuals like that Wonder Woman, or not Wonder Woman annual, but when the annuals are like this small story, this small story, this small story, this lead-in story. Really? I can't stand those.
They always change up what the annuals are like.
Any event, bottom line is yes, most of the annuals have kicked ass on multiple levels, except for Superman.
Okay. Well, Cross X Hunters here, his top 5 list going 5 to 1. I'm assuming this is in order. Wonder Woman, The Flash, Justice League Dark, Red Hood, and Batman and Robin number 1. Batman and Robin, a lot of people's top pick from people I've talked to.
It's a good list.
Yeah. Omar, what's your list?
My list goes something like number 5 is Justice League. Despite what the naysayers may say, it is fucking awesome seeing Green Lantern and Flash just being the center of the Justice League, and I love it. And seeing Superman and Wonder Woman. Batman, of course, is going to be forward because he always will be, but kind of in his little ninja mode. And I like what they did with Cyborg. Cyborg is dope, and of course, Aquaman. Aquaman is he's like Darth Vader. He should be black, but he's white.
Hold on. I'm going to totally interrupt you for a second. Just everyone has to remind me to tell you after we talk about this, we have to talk about the Robot Chicken special. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay. 4. Dang, that's like a changing one.
You broke Omar's brain.
I did. Sorry.
Robot Chicken. Now I thought about that cool-ass cover that I have. Thanks, dude. Animal Man. Foreman and Lemire. So sick. I really had... I didn't read the Morrison Animal Man that is considered legendary by many.
But it makes you want to, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and
Yes.
I will, and I definitely will. I'll do that before Swamp Thing because Animal Man. I totally been into Animal Man more so than Swamp Thing, though I do appreciate it a lot because that's in my honorable mentions. Number 3, no one gives it props, but I do. Catwoman. It's actually up there, kind of like 2A with Green Lantern. Catwoman is just an incredible book. In my opinion, it's just the best Gotham City book besides Batman, because Snyder obviously kills it with the way he depicts Gotham City, and of course brings forward the Owls, which have always been kind of obscure characters, or the Talents.
So I just have a general question for you here.
What's up?
How current are you on all these books?
I'm current on all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm current on all the books that obviously...
Well, I just wanted to know.
Totally.
Because, as of issue 4, I probably would have agreed with you on how phenomenal Catwoman is, and then it just started to slide for me.
Yeah, with that one dude that comes in,
It
and her
slid into the
friend's dying.
It slid into the Court of Owls, and the Court of Owls was okay. And then coming out of Court of Owls, it was kind of like, okay, where are we going? But now it's starting to pick back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only part I liked about the Court of Owls is, first of all, the design of the Talons. I think it's sick. That's definitely something that I can appreciate that Capullo, brought forward. But just how they kind of showed how powerful the mind of Bruce Wayne is. Like, he can just get totally drugged out and just go through shit and just come back, which is very Morrison-esque. So, yeah. Number 2, Green Lantern, just because Sinestro is the man. And number 1, Wonder Woman. Just Chang Nazarella, I just can't say anything. I've reread that whole story, probably all those 12 issues, probably like 3 times more than I did than any other issue besides probably Green Lantern, because Green Lantern's like the shit. But
Cool.
yeah,
Nice list.
of course, Nightwing is my honorable mention. Batwoman. Oh, Fury of the Firestorms.
This your Toby list? Going to like 12?
No, just honorable mentions.
Hey, my top 5 was like a top 2, so
Yeah, I know.
it's all right.
Ocularis, I believe is how you pronounce this. I'm another guy from the forums. A lot of forum guys writing in this week.
What's up?
His top 5 is
Maybe they're trying to see what they can trigger us to say, so there's something to talk about on the forums afterwards.
number 5 is Aquaman. Number 4, Catwoman. There you go, Omar.
Booyah.
Number 3, Suicide Squad. Number 2, Justice League. And number 1, Batman.
Yes.
So Batman taking another top spot there. Let's see.
Did you just Adam West theme song?
Actually, I got a nice long email here. I'll read most of this here from Chris, who says, "Hey guys, I just want to send in my list of my new favorite top 52 books so far.
Sure.
But before I do that, I just wanted to say the new 52 was the reason I started reading comics by issues instead of waiting for a trade. I like the jumping in point in the same day as print digital comics. This will allow me to buy what I want without having to travel far.
Also, it's buying them digitally.
Yeah, also with the comics conspiracy comicology, Jesus store, I was able to
digital storefront.
Yeah, I was able to help you guys out
CCC.
while living nowhere near you. Which thank you, Chris. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank
You
you.
rock, Chris.
Well, his top 5: Justice League Dark for 5. Barely beats the Suicide Squad. I love both, but the occult side of DC is much more fun. I'd agree. I love Justice League Dark. Number 4, Demon Knights. The team is so cool. I had very limited knowledge of the characters going in, but their developments have been a blast to read. Totally agree. Number 3, All-Star Western.
Yes,
Number 2, Batman. I don't think there's anything else to say. And now he's going to take the Brock cheat with number 1, Animal Man / Swamp Thing.
How is it cheating? They're connected.
They're very different.
So,
Really? Rot World.
and now he's going to give the Omar and Toby shout out to Resurrection Man and Dial H. They're kind of the same, but completely different, and I can't get enough of them. Sucks that Resurrection Man got canceled.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It
that's a
does.
bummer.
DC,
fun
you
book.
fail.
You know, our good friend Gage, who was on our Suicide Squad episode
What's up, Gage?
a long time ago, actually sent me his list, and I don't have it on this computer. I just realized Jesus,
Ryan hates you.
below my ear. So, Gage, I'll read your list next week.
Did you just say blow in my ear?
I said you guys are blowing out my eardrums with your loud noise.
Do not want
You
to
deserved
blow
it.
Ryan.
Gage is the man.
Yeah, I'm going to take one more random email here that I haven't. Let's go way back.
Go wait. How far back are we going?
Until I find one that
2006.
compliments him again.
Yeah.
He's got one from 2006 before the podcast even started.
Here's a great one from July 15th, all right?
Oh my god.
Here's a quick question. If Thor can control lightning, then why does it hurt when he gets tased by a taser?
Because it's the amps. It's based on the amps.
It's
You
too
can
low.
actually get-
It's too low of ampage. It's too low.
Well, lightning
It is-
it's the opposite.
It's lightning. It varies. So if the amps are really turned up on the taser, then it can affect him. Maybe it has a reverse polarity because he's the thunder god. So lower amperage actually hurts him versus higher.
You are
So
going somewhere
I'm-
with it.
I'm actually just wondering, is this in reference to the movie or is this in reference to something in comics I'm not thinking of?
No, doesn't he?
He
And he
gets,
gets tased in the movie, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yes,
He
but
plays
he
in the
gets
movie.
Yeah,
tased
in the main movie.
when his powers have already been taken away and he's mortal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because he
your
wasn't a
answer.
god at that point.
That's true.
I just
But
think it's a
that's
funny
only-
question.
I think it's a great question.
Yeah, that's great.
That was pretty
Good job.
awesome. You had Ryan
We
Finke.
should have done that last week when we actually had thunderstorms around here.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got not too much news, but a couple things I wanted to read real quick. What will be the talking point for a number of our customers who are huge fans of this particular character? Warner Brothers is apparently fast tracking a new Wonder Woman pilot written by Alan Heinberg. Who,
Yay.
He did like the first 6 issues
Well,
of Wonder
yeah.
Woman like
Right.
4 years ago.
Right, fantastic
Yeah,
writer.
Young
Yeah.
Justice. Not Young Justice.
Avengers.
Yeah, Young Avengers. Yeah.
Right, fantastic writer. This appears to be a Smallville take on Wonder Woman. You know, probably early days, maybe on Paradise Island. Don't know.
So it's going to be a show full of half-naked chicks? Omar?
yeah.
We're watching.
He'll never beat Xena.
So you know, with how
Never?
fast
That sounds like a challenge.
with Arrow coming on next month.
Okay.
I mean, how fast did they turn that thing around in like 6 months? Like, we never even heard of this thing until like 6 months ago, and now it's going to be on the air.
Dude, I have to say, I was not interested in the Arrow at all, and I was talking to Charlie early today. Fucking A, man, with all these additions they keep doing to the show, man, I can't not watch it.
I was sold. It's a DC show. Sure, I'll absolutely watch this.
That John Barrowman is on it?
And then they cast Captain Jack.
And who told you about that one?
You.
All right, thank you.
Captain Jack Harkness is going to be on Spawn.
You know what got me really excited in more ways than one?
Huntress.
What's that?
No, actually, it's in one way or the other. It's that's the ex-Huntress is on the show again.
Oh, really?
The girl that played Huntress on Birds of Prey is on it, and I kind of wish that they casted her as Huntress again because oh my god, I was so in love with her. Yeah,
So it is
but she's
based on
back.
the hotness of the Huntress.
She's back.
It's just the old one.
I like the old one.
That's okay. He'll probably like the new one too, and
No, I like.
then there'll be scenes with
Ashley
both of them
Scott.
together.
And he'll
And
freak out.
Ashley Scott is my.
Well, other DC show that was on. Did anyone see the Robot Chicken special last
yes,
Nope.
I
yes,
missed it.
night? Oh,
I don't have live
Yes.
TV, Ryan.
I know.
Tell us about it.
yes.
I don't watch Robot Chicken.
I know you don't, Brock. Charlie,
No, the listeners don't know that.
Was
I'm
that-
trying to inform them?
it's something that's decent, so of course you don't watch it. Charlie, was that
It
hilarious?
didn't, it
I
didn't
don't
have
watch Big
Jennifer
Bang Theory.
Aniston in it. That's why you didn't watch it.
Yes, I enjoyed it for here's the thing about Robot Chicken for me. A lot of the jokes I like, but every once in a while they'll tell a joke that I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't watch it on a regular basis, but this was an all DC Comics
Oh, no.
special, co-written by Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
there, baby.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It worked. I especially like the Green Lantern stuff, obviously.
Very, like, what I think makes something like Robot Chicken funny, and this, as opposed to like the Marvel shorts that they do between like Ultimate Spider-Man and all that, those stupid like wannabe. Like,
I haven't seen any of those.
but you know what I'm talking about? It's like those ones that they overdub the voice. But those just seem kind of dumb and jokey. The great thing about this Robot Chicken special is they were very like comic reference heavy and comic accurate. So maybe some
Sick.
people wouldn't get it, but
Yeah.
for comic fans, it's like, oh, they're actually talking about like real things. That's really cool.
Uh-huh.
And Tara Strong did a voice in there too.
Ooh, was she Harley,
No,
or was that actually
She was Bubbles. No, I'm kidding.
real actress?
no.
It'd be funny as shit.
She's one of the Wonder Twins.
I'm trying to remember who they put her in as. I just remember she was in there. There was a lot of people who lended their voice.
Because
from-
Harley sounded exactly like Arlene Sorkin. If it wasn't her, I'd be really surprised. Because Steven Tyler did the theme song from
That's
Aerosmith.
cool.
Nice.
Super random.
Nice.
My favorite bit of the night, though, has to be they had these
The F-list
like,
characters.
could you believe that this is a real character from DC Comics? And the first one was, I didn't notice his name was pronounced Badge, but it's apparently Badge. It's like the little chipmunk, the little squirrel Green Lantern guy.
Yeah, the one that replaced Chip, basically.
Yeah. I didn't know if his name was pronounced Badge, but whatever. So they're talking about him, and they bring out Firestorm, and I'm like, what the fuck, Firestorm? Firestorm's badass.
Yeah.
I love Firestorm. He's one of my favorite characters. And then Firestorm's like, what am I doing on here? Like, I'm a popular character. Like, I can literally turn lead into gold.
I was a member of the Justice League.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then they bring in like, God,
Mr. Banjo.
he's some ridiculous like villain that appeared one time, and then Firestorm comes running back out. He's like, seriously, you're putting me in the same category as this guy? No, I was on the fucking Justice League, and he's just like beating the hell out of the guy with the banjo, and it was so fun. It's like
hilarious.
Firestorm getting some love. Firestorm and Aquaman getting lots of love in this episode.
Good.
Yeah,
As they should.
a lot of Aquaman love in this episode.
Voice of Raven.
Oh,
She
did Raven?
also does the voice
she
of
was
Raven
in
on
the-
Yeah,
the
the show.
Teen Titans.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So super funny.
And let's see, Neil Patrick Harris as Two-Face.
Nice.
That guy's awesome.
Megan Fox as Lois Lane. Nathan Fillion
what?
as Green Lantern.
Awesome.
Seth Green as lots and lots and lots
Yeah,
of
he did a
people.
lot of voices. He did Batman. I think he did Batman and Superman, right?
He did Batman, Robin, Aquaman, Toyman / Various.
Yeah.
Brecken Mayer as Superman Mirror Master. Alfred Molina as Lex Luthor.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's great about even like
I love Molina. Sick.
you know,
Paul Rubens as the Riddler.
with Mirror Master, they even had him having like a Scottish accent. And there's a great scene in it where all the villains are laughing and you see Bizarro in the background crying. Touches like that were
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Is awesome.
Yeah, really funny. Really, really funny stuff. So if you guys didn't watch it, I'm sure Cartoon Network will play that thing 1,000 times. So it was
I'll just have
hilarious.
to
Something tells me Toby wants to come over and watch it after the podcast.
I'm gonna bike over to Charlie's house.
Yeah, very funny, very very funny. I mean, they do a lot of comic book jokes on Robot Chicken. I don't watch it on a regular basis. I catch it here and there. But I'd love to see them do more of these. It kind of feels like Family Guy when they do the Star Wars episodes, how they're very focused and so they kind of have one joke to go on.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them do like a Marvel one or do more DC ones. Or Oh,
Cool.
the Bane. Bane kept showing up. That was really funny.
Yes. So
that's
Bane kept showing up and breaking Batman's back over and over through the episode. It was like it just started out randomly. Bane shows up while Batman's on the roof and just breaks his back and leaves him there. And the next thing's in the Bat Cave. Is like, after all this time of training, I'm back. And then Bane shows up. He's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, super
But my
funny.
favorite one was he showed up in the Justice League after Batman came back from the back getting broken the last time.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, come on, you guys just sat there and watched it happen.
And I also have to admit the Captain Carrot funeral,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Funeral for Captain Carrot, great stuff. All right, what else we got? Do I got anything else?
You wanted to go over the Avengers roster.
Can I complain about the Avengers roster?
Yes, please.
I'm sure you're capable of it.
Have you guys seen this?
What else is new?
No, give us the roster.
There's some random array of characters I remember.
Who am I looking at here?
Ant-
It's
Is it Uncanny Adventures?
No, this is just Avengers. This is Hickman and
it's a typical huge. Let's cram everybody
Opena.
from various things in here.
Yeah, but it's
So it's-
very various though.
Hickman and Opena. So we got
Which is going to be incredible.
well, sure.
Come on. Hickman, Opena.
Let's just wait for the issues, and then we'll either rant or rave. We'll see which.
I'm going to be Raven. Opena's like fucking the sickest artist out, and Hickman is
Roster.
Just the man.
It's part of the. It's just part of the roster. So I mean, you have Superman. Superman.
Superman.
Like Superman.
It was the best team ever of the Avengers. That's what I'm talking about.
Superman mode. I'm looking at something else here. You have Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. Okay, Cap, Thor, Iron Man, solid, right?
Okay.
You got Miss Marvel, cool.
Okay.
All right, or Captain Marvel now. Hulk, okay. Black Widow,
Which one?
Green Hulk.
Okay.
Black Widow, okay, sure. You got the movie tie and stuff, fine. Okay, Falcon's cool. I'm down with Falcon. Hawkeye, cool. All right.
So we basically got the movie cast at this point.
A lot of them.
It's just fun because they kind of went, here's the movie cast, here's Bendis's cast, and there
Here's
was
the
one.
West
Yeah.
Coast Avengers.
Wait, so is there more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man? Nah, Spider-Man.
Why? Stop.
Spider-Woman.
No, because Hickman does write Spider-Man very well as
Yeah.
a little
NFF.
funny little Deadpool.
Okay, Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. All right.
Come on, they're just doing the Bendis in there. So,
Wolverine.
as I said, the Bendis in there.
Cannonball?
From
Sunspot?
What?
What the fuck?
That's kind of cool. I mean, I like those two characters.
On the
Has the
Avengers?
Sunspot been confirmed? Because the picture wasn't 100% clear.
So you
if
got
that
like
was
C-list
Sunspot
X-Men's
or
on the
if that was
Avengers.
somebody
That's
else.
why it bothers you.
It's really weird.
I don't know. Bobby and Sam can kill it,
Come
man.
on, you
they
should
can be
you
like
should
the little
give
young
them
guns
some
of the team.
love.
I,
X-Force.
you know,
On the Avengers.
X-Force.
I don't. Sunspot?
On the
Cannonball?
Avengers.
Is Sunspot the one that got married?
Hey, if it was
Like-
Speedball, you'd be like jumping up and down
Well,
at this
that would
point.
make
Yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so okay, Wolverine and Spider-Man. Bleh, I guess. Oh, I guess Shang-Chi's on the team too, and that's cool. I can deal with Shang-Chi. He's the Iron Fist replacement. Hey, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. It's like, God, are we done with her yet? But it's like Spider-Man and Wolverine. It's like, okay, we have to. Sunspot, Cannonball. How weird. Like that's. If it was like, I'm trying to think of who like who would
Wait,
I
which,
be okay
which
with?
Spider-Woman? The recent one.
The normal one, yeah.
I actually liked when the other one
Are there
was
any,
on the
are
West
there any
Coast
black
Avengers.
characters?
Did you just ask if there's any black characters?
Yeah.
Falcon.
Sunspot's Asian,
Oh,
right?
oh, Falcon. Yeah, Falcon.
Oh, yeah, Falcon.
Sorry.
Is
I looked right past
Sunspot's
him.
Asian, right?
Sunspot's
No, he's
Latin.
Latin, yeah,
Latin,
Spanish.
okay.
Yeah.
So they're just representing.
So
Yeah.
you're just trying to find somebody they're not representing so you
yeah,
can
exactly.
start a
Let's
whole...
exploit it.
They have a Hulk
Get
American.
forward, something
so.
to talk
They're
about.
gonna have a gay Hulk in there.
I mean, I don't know. I think that Hickman could pull it off. Because if you read FF and you read Future Foundation, he has like fucking 30 people in that book.
Yeah.
He covers Inhumans,
Just-
Doom, The fucking
Sunspot and Cannonball?
well,
Get
we'll see,
over
right?
it.
That's-
Wait till you read the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
You
weird.
make it sound really bad just how you say it. Sunspot and Cannonball.
I don't want these F-list X-Men on my
You
Avengers.
don't even read the book.
Huh? Of course I will. This?
Yeah,
I'll totally read
but
this.
you want
We'll
your
see.
C
We'll
and D
see.
list Speedball on the Avengers. That's okay.
C-list Avengers are fine because that's what the Avengers are about. C-list X-Men on the X-Men are fine because that's what the X-Men
no,
about.
no. Speedball is C-list new Avenger guy.
No, but I'm saying when they brought in Firestar and Marvel Boy and the Avengers, that made sense because they're like wannabe Avengers, cool. And if you want to bring in some dumb wannabe mutant, sure.
Dazzler?
In their Avengers Academy when they brought in.
I'd be down for Dazzler on the Avengers. She'd be like the new Crystal.
Well,
Well, in
he's already
AVX,
running around in alternate worlds with Extreme X-Men.
Did they bring in what the hell was Ultra Girl? Isn't she a mutant? They brought in a bunch of weird kid characters
Well,
into
the Raptor kid was kind of a mutant.
into Avengers
And the
into
Lizard
Avengers
Girl.
Academy, and maybe upgrading some of those people to Avenger status.
Yeah.
But Cannonball and Sunspot just seem so out of place. So where the hell have they even been?
But
Have they appeared in any books recently? X-Men Legacy is the
In
only
all the
X-Men
books
book
you
I've
don't
read.
no, they were
Right?
they were in
I'm
AVX.
kidding.
They
But-
were in the background, and they've been kind of
Oh, yeah,
they
I'm just
planted
trying
that
to
seed.
think.
You remember, and they pulled from it. They Cannonball's like, are we going to do something? Like he was kind of helping a revolt in the mutant side.
He's like,
See,
yeah,
to
we're
me,
going to be
this is
Avengers
just-
now.
Their big thing is they wanted to sort of intermingle the Avengers and the X-Men to sort of tie the world all together at this point. And they said that going into Marvel now that this is what they were doing. Hence why they have the A+X book. And how even in X-Men titles you have certain Avengers members, and in Avengers titles you have X-Men members.
Well, who the hell's
I
going
got
to
it.
be?
It's like Game of Thrones and hostages.
Who's going to be?
Taking on wards.
That's a good-
right?
that's a good analogy.
Right?
I like
Avengers got Cannonball and Sunspot, and who are the X-Men going to get? Wasp and...
She is a
Go
mutant.
Giant Man.
That'll work.
Wasp's not a mutant.
Oh, wait. I mixed her up with Wanda.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious. I'm going to read it. It's cool, but
It's nice of Marvel to switch things around this way because they've never done it really in real seriousness. I mean, they switched over Beast and
Is this
some
like-
other characters. I mean, full on switching stuff around.
is this like the Blue Starman and Congorilla joining the JLA? Is this what this is?
Well, did you have a problem with Beast and
This is
Scarlet
the
Witch?
Marvel universe not having identity anymore.
Scarlet Witch and Scarlet Witch never really bothered me. Just because she kind of
married in with the robot?
They kind of had a long tie, and she was in there super early, so I was fine with that. I mean, for me, sure. If I read the first 7 issues of Avengers, you're bringing this mutant in, yeah, maybe I would have cared then, but I don't care now. It's just I think it's a weird.
Yes, you do, because they're bringing Cannonball and Sunspot.
No, and Beast worked because he quit the book, but Cannonball and Sunspot to me. What do they bring to the team of the Avengers?
Well, one has fire shit going on, and the other one, I don't know.
There's a flyer and could fucking. He was
Okay,
At one point,
so
he was. I don't know if it's been
Nova. Okay, so there's Nova.
Oh, I got it. How many flyers
Okay.
are on the team versus non-flyers? Because the flyers carry the non-flyers.
Fire guy, okay. Firestar, okay. There's your replacements. Nova and Firestar should kick Cannonball and Sunspot out of the Avengers.
Wasn't
Done.
Cannonball an Eternal? He was a badass back in the day,
Nova right now.
right? Or
No,
did
real-
they get changed? Did they change that up?
They can bring real Nova back.
Remember that?
But I don't remember these characters being
Cannonball.
anywhere
I
recently.
don't remember him being an Eternal.
Yeah, they made him out to be this. This was probably late '90s. That was at the end of X Force, and he said, "Oh yeah," because
Was Cable still on it?
Yeah, Cable was kind of leaving the book, and Cannonball came forward as the. Real
I remember
leader, and
when they promoted Cannonball to a member of the
Cannibal.
X-Men.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I don't see it as being a problem because you have incredible creative talent that can bring some zest into these old, characters that aren't really relevant right now.
It's not Bendis.
What do you mean?
It's not Bendis.
Yeah,
That's why it's
Bendis.
awesome. That's why it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up unless anyone's got anything else to.
Oh, I do.
Hello.
What?
Okay, so Brock and then me.
No,
go.
you can go.
No, please.
No, you.
We're not giving any love towards HeroClix. Tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow. We're going to get 10th anniversary of both DC and Marvel.
Well.
The same night coming out.
Well,
Are you gonna have any for the-
We'll see how many we get.
Well,
Massive
the world, not just here at the store, but
Yeah.
the world is
Yeah.
going to be getting these cool ass. I think so. It's the micro sets of both DC 10th anniversary and then Marvel 10th anniversary. Both of them are going to be having about like 12 pieces each that celebrate only 12 iconic characters. For like Catwoman, they're going to have her in the old school like 60s outfit, and then the kind of more new school 90s outfit.
And it's still going to be one
Balance?
per. They're not like doing pairs or anything, right?
No, it's one per. So,
That's what I thought.
Just for the micro, yeah. So,
But that makes me sad. I want them both.
well, you can get them both. I think if you buy a countertop, for the most part, my
So
experience,
I have to wait till you open them all and then run up and take them and run away.
yeah, that can happen too. That can happen too. But the coolest thing that I was actually surprised about it is, a la Avengers movie set, they are including chases. So they have 3 chases each for each one. For the DC, it's Black Lanterns, which is fucking cool. And then for Marvel, it's the Skrulls. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. I'll be playing at my buddy's shop. Shout out to Heroes and Dice. I'll be playing there until midnight and then going home and sleeping, holding them in my hands, petting my puppy. All right, your turn, Bob.
So yeah, just so you guys know, Plastic Crack comes out tomorrow, the DC version and the Marvel version.
Nice.
Go get yours.
Oh, there you go.
You mean Wednesday?
Tomorrow night.
12:01. Jeez.
Yes. Is that all you're going to say?
No. I was just summarizing what you were
Oh,
saying.
okay.
There's a good Barbara you said in there.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Oracle. Yeah, it looks dope. Dude, Lex Luthor in his green suit. Yeah, superpowers.
Well, how does are they all individually again, or
They come individually, yeah.
Uh,
Just
oh.
like the My Little Ponies that you
They're-
bought the whole set.
Oh, so it's all blind box.
Yeah.
So you don't know who you get.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Unless the
Rocket.
figure's really tall, and then you can tell.
Brock, you had something?
Oh, I wanted to say thank you to HT for coming out.
HT?
HT from DC.
Yeah.
Coming out and visiting with us on Friday.
He learned that there's no public transportation in the Bay Area.
And it's a really long walk from the train
and
station
that
to
maps aren't maps that run this area don't seem appropriately long, and they tend to be way longer than it seems. So yes, if you're going to come visit the store and you come on the train station, we recommend taking a cab or a bus down here because it's a lot further of a walk than it seems. We've had a few people try that walk, and boy, it's not easy, especially if it's hot. Yes, thank you for coming by. That's awesome. We actually get a lot of people coming by the store, so super cool.
here. Yeah, I had something else, but Omar made me forget it.
Ha.
That's fine.
That's all right, penis.
All right, we'll
Only my own.
we'll wrap up. If you want to send us any awesome emails, you can send them to thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. We'll read your emails on the podcast, and you can send us Twitters too. We'll get to that in a second. But you go to forums.geekbox.net and you can talk to us on there about all our awesome comic stuff, as well as all our video games and
Or you
everything
could
else.
just fight each other.
Yeah, you could do that too. Everything else we talk about on geekbox.net, which is where you can find this episode, as well as episodes of the Geekbox, episodes of the Comedy Button, and Good Job Brain. Don't forget to visit Brock's blog, conspiratorbrock.com. Comics and Decline, that's Omar's website.
What's up?
The Infinite Long Box podcast, which still doesn't have a website, if I'm not mistaken.
Just the Libsyn one. The infinitelongbox.libsyn.com.
Yeah, just do a Google or iTunes search for him. And we're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins Ryan, Brock Sager, Comics and Decline, Toby XI is Toby, and Insanity in Chaos is Charlie.
Insanity in chaos.
Like our lovely customer from our digital store that wrote in earlier. If you want to buy digital comics from us, you can buy them from digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
Buy from us.
Every Wednesday morning they go up super early. DC is up at 11 a.m. PST because DC likes to have their books come out at the same time they're here.
10:30. It's like 10:30, 10:45.
It's 11 o'clock PST is what it says. So I just tell
I'm
it.
just letting you know.
I'm just letting you know
I got to
what
get
it says.
those deep link numbers, man. I know they go up.
Have fun with that. All right, we'll talk to everyone next week.